Hello students, good morning. Students of class 12 commerce, welcome to Pandar sir's virtual class on macroeconomics. Today the topic of discussion is central bank and its function. Yesterday we discussed about the money creation by a commercial bank. See students, after discussing this, the functions of central bank, we are going to also discuss the differences between central bank and commercial bank. Commercial bank are meant for, or commercial banks aim at earning profit. They get involved in the twin function of accepting deposit and advancing loan, and their prime motto is to earn profit. Thus, but central bank on the other hand is the bank of the government, and its prime motto is to control the entire monetary system or the economy, and profit earning, profit motive is not there in case of central bank. So today we will discuss the central bank. We would try to define it, and we will discuss its various functions. So here see, here there are 4 features of central bank, and if we go through the features of central bank carefully, then the meaning or the definition would be clear in our mind. So coming to the first feature, it is the apex bank and controls credit and money supply in the economy. Apex means at the topmost point. That means the entire banking system, what we find at the top or at the head is the central bank, and it regulates. It regulates what? It regulates the amount of money supply in the economy, because it has a direct relationship with the purchasing power of people, and it would decide the rate of inflation or deflation, and the total amount of credit. Credit means the total amount of money available in the money market for the purpose of investment. Thus, the first point says it is the apex bank at the top, and it controls the credit and money supply in the economy. The second point is it is the lender of last resort. Lender of last resort. You know, the commercial banks, they never run their business only from their initial deposit or the deposited amount. They need more money to invest or to advance loan. That's why they depend upon commercial bank. So, for a commercial bank, the central bank is the lender of last resort. Means it is the last or ultimate authority, monetary organization that can lend them money for business purpose. The third point says it supervises, regulates and controls the activities of the commercial banks. So, you know, there are some government commercial banks, some private commercial banks, and they have their different policies. After the process of liberalization during the 90s, the central bank nowadays is not the authority that totally controls the activities of the commercial bank. To some extent, they are enjoying their liberty or their freedom. That's why. But in order to maintain the economic system of an economy smoothly, the activities of different commercial banks is needed to be guided or to be supervised or to be controlled or to be regulated, and this job is done by the central bank. And you know, the central bank of our country is called the Reserve Bank of India, or RBI. RBI means the central bank. The fourth point says makes periodic inspection of commercial banks. So how the central bank would control or regulate the activities of the commercial banks? For that purpose, the authority or the delegates of central bank visit periodically the commercial banks and check their documents and check their activities to be sure that they are following the guidelines that is fixed by the central bank properly. So these four functions tells us about what is central bank and why it is established and what type of job it does. Next, to control the money supply and credit in the economy, the central bank usually follows different policies, and one of the policies is monetary policy of central bank. Monetary policy. Monetary, the word monetary itself says that it is related to the supply and the availability of money and credit in the money market. That means what is the amount of credit available or money available in the money market that can be invested or that can be spent to purchase different things, different consumer goods, different producer goods, different capital goods, like that. So monetary policies, it is strictly related to the control of inflow of money and credit in our money market. So when we are going to discuss the monetary policy of central bank, it usually follows two different measures to control the supply of money in the money market. The first one is quantitative measure that has 5 points, and we are going to discuss one by one. And the second measure is qualitative measures. So quantitative measure is strictly related to the quantity of money or credit available in the money market. Once again I repeat my statement. Quantitative measures that is strictly related to the availability of money and credit in the money market for different consumption and production or investment purpose. So what are the quantitative measures? The first one, that is bank rate. Here you need to clearly distinguish the bank rate and the rate of interest. Both are different things. You see, rate of interest, what interest we have to pay when we borrow money from any commercial bank is called rate of interest, ROI. Whereas to continue its activity, that is financing or advancing loan, sometimes commercial banks need surplus money or extra money, and who gives them money? It is the central bank. And when central banks give money to the commercial banks, then it charges a rate of interest on that, and that interest is called bank rate. Bank rate means it is the rate of interest that is charged by a commercial bank, charged by a central bank, that on the money that it advances as a loan to different commercial banks. So obviously it is quite clear that there could be two different situations that is not desirable for any economy. Means the economy must be always in equilibrium, and if the economy is not at equilibrium, then either there is excess demand or more purchasing power, or there is deficient demand or less purchasing power, and both the situations are not desirable. And through its monetary policy, through its quantitative measures, the central bank take the help of bank rate to control either excess demand or deficient demand. So, in case of excess demand, what the central bank would like to do? It would like to withdraw some money from the money market, or it would restrict the inflow of money into the money market. For that, when to deal with excess demand or inflationary situation, what the central bank does is it hikes or it rises the bank rate. And what happens as a result? So, what is the chain of action after that? So, bank rate is hiked or increased, and as a result, investors would be feeling discouraged. They would like to take less loan for investment because interest rate is more, and because bank rate increased, it has a direct effect on rate of interest that the commercial bank charges on its customers or on investors. That's why if the bank rate increases, the rate of interest will also increase, and investors will feel discouraged to invest. That's why the inflow of money supply into the money market would fall, and excess demand, case of excess demand, would be clear. And on the other hand, if there is a deficient demand, then the central bank would like to inject more purchasing power or more money or more credit into the money market. For that, it would decrease the bank rate. As a result, the rate of interest that the commercial bank charges on its investors would fall, and investors will be feeling encouraged to invest, and there would be more investment, there would be more income, there would be more production, and availability of money or purchasing power of people would increase. So that's how bank rate is an effective tool to control inflationary and deflationary situation. The next quantitative measure is repo rate. So here, repo rate and reverse repo rate, these 2 points are quite related. That's why we will discuss at a time both the points. What is repo rate? What happens? Sometimes the available money with the commercial bank remain idle, and they are not able to invest it, or they don't find any investor to use that money. So what they would do? They would deposit the money with the central bank for a limited period of time, short period of time, and the rate of interest the central bank would give them is called the repo rate. And on the other hand, if the commercial bank needs money for a short time to fulfill its day-to-day transactions, then it would borrow money for short time from the central bank, and the rate of interest it would pay to the central bank is called reverse repo rate. And both are increased to control inflationary situation, and both are decreased to control deflationary situation or deficient demand. Then the fourth point is open market operation. Open market operation is the sale and purchase of financial papers like securities, bond by the commercial bank, and it is issued by the government of India. And the commercial banks take the initiative or take the responsibility to sell those financial papers or securities to general people or different organizations. So what happens? Suppose I purchased a security worth 10,000 rupees. So when I invested 10,000 rupees, it went to the government, and my purchasing power is reduced. That's how in open market operation, what happens? Government purchases more and more securities to handle inflationary situation, whereas government sells securities to control deflationary situation. Then the final point is changing legal reserve ratio. Yesterday only we discussed that a legal reserve ratio, LRR, is the combination of SLR, that is statutory liquidity ratio, and CRR, that is cash reserve ratio. And these two are a reserve in the sense that the commercial bank cannot invest that money, and it has to keep the money idle. That's why if the central bank hikes or rises, increases the legal reserve ratio, then it would result in less supply of money into the money market, and the excess demand would be cleared. And on the other hand, if the government or central bank decreased the legal reserve ratio, then it would result in more supply of money into the money market, and deflationary situation would be cleared. So this is all about function of central bank and quantitative measures. Today we will discuss about qualitative measures and some other functions of central bank. So go through the books, go through the notes, go through the video, and if you are getting any doubt, don't feel shy to consult me. Thank you and have a nice day.